Hi everyone, this is Killshot from 99 Gaming. This is The Walking Dead Season 9 Summer Scandals. Oh boy, do we have a lot of stuff to talk about today. We've avoided a lot of these topics. We're not going to dig down into the brass tacks of all of them, but we will acknowledge that there are scandalous activities going on. It has been a crazy set of events over the last few months. So we're going to talk about a few of those. And then we're going to dig down on a couple of them because there's just a ton of lawsuits out there. We want to get to that lawsuit. But I want to do it in the typical 999 Army style. Just want to remind everybody, we're going to have differing opinions. Just be respectful to each other. Respect other people's opinion and don't get super fired up when topics do come up. The moderators might be a little bit lighter tonight, but it's an opportunity to talk, discuss, the way we do it, not to spit a whole bunch of venom and get a whole bunch of ideas out there. So you guys know, you know what we're all about. We're going to have some fun with this. I do want to super chat already because OU Captain Crawfish is getting here early and says the first one is on him. So drinks are on OU Captain Crawfish. And also, we've done just a whole series of streams the last couple days, and there were a couple rants in one or two of them. One of my favorite comments showed up on a video today. So I'm going to ad-lib it. I'm not going to go through exactly who or what they were referring to. But in so many words, this person said, "Kills, I subbed to your channel today because you were a true fan of the show, unlike some of those other crybaby YouTubers that threaten to quit every time something happens." Love that comment. So you nailed it. I'm here, man. I'm here through thick or thin, good or bad. We're going to make this thing work. Good story, bad story. If I can survive Fear the Walking Dead of 3 seasons and get back to a good season, I can survive anything. Also, another super chat. Valar in the house saying, "Hello, 999 Army." Kills, Emmy, Steph, Kales, Bree, Sweet Tommy, sponsors, patrons, and, of course, all the super chatters. All right. We're going to get into some of the stuff that's going down. So, as you saw, previous video we posted today, if you get a chance to see it all over the news, there is another lawsuit out there. And what's weird is we've got lawsuits of people that were against each other, and now they're partners with each other, and they're co-defendants against each other. So the bigger picture of this, I'll kind of put it in summary. Mel Smith from Dead Ahead, the comic book, had a comic theme, some things where people are out on a boat. And you know, the whole Fear theme is the boat. And even before Fear Season 2 came out, a lot of us did have questions like, how are they going to deal with walkers in the water, like truly in the ocean, underwater? And from the comics, I guess people had some hints of that, but people from the television show wanted to know. And apparently that's kind of what Dead Ahead was about. Now, copyright is a real slippery slope. There's fair use, there's using ideas or using characters or character likeness. All of those things could fall under copyright infringement. I know it well because I've dealt with copyright issues, believe it or not, with AMC in the past when we were doing videos and talking about fair use and talking about their show early on. When I first started doing some of the gaming and doing some of the videos, it seemed like all the YouTubers out there were just copyright flagged for everything. And then it was just case after case of, no, we're not doing this stuff line for line. We're not, we're not showing your movie. We're showing clips or pieces of your movie in order to talk about it and discuss alternate endings. So there is that. But it is going to boil down to money. I mean, Fear the Walking Dead is probably starting to turn the corner, starting to make a little bit of money. Question I have for the group is, if Fear the Walking Dead would not have started to show a little bit of popularity this season, do you think this lawsuit still would have surfaced? Let's say after season 3, Fear would have just tanked. You think Mel Smith would have even ramped it up? Because it looks like the reboot he might be seeing some dollar signs at this point. Get a few people's comments up in here. So Sergeant Chosen One wants to know, what do you think they'll do? Well, here's the thing, Chosen One, is we don't have all the facts of exactly what they're claiming. It's just a few details have leaked. But, yes, if there's specific characters that they introduced in Season 2 of the same likeness and of the same name, then absolutely they have a right to sue for something. What could get really tricky, this would be an accounting nightmare, right? Because Kirkman, AMC owns Fear the Walking Dead, and Kirkman gets 5% of the profits after everything's paid. But now Kirkman is a defendant, and then the lawsuit is against AMC and Kirkman, which, you know what, I'm confused. I'm going to try to figure this out. I guess it would be after the fact profit. What if they sue him and there was no profit? Then would Kirkman have to give the money back to, yeah, you get it. Cat Daddy 26 says AMC is finished. No way, Cat Daddy. AMC's fine. I will go on to say that this is not something you should be worried about. It's just a lawsuit. It's just a little bit of money. It's not like this is even a major thing. Now, that $1 billion lawsuit and all the people coming forward, you know, with Kirkman and Frank Darabont and all of them, that was a bigger deal, but I think parts of that have already been thrown out. So if I had to rate this on a scale of 1 to 10 as far as importance from a lawsuit and the copyright issue, I'd say this is like a 2. So I wouldn't get worked over. It's just, it just adds another candle onto the cake. But I do want to talk about the whole stream of scandals that are going down. And it does seem as if there's a little bit of dissension. A little bit of... I typically don't do these type of videos. But I figured after the Angela Kang thing and after hearing that the story was going to take a different... I just wanted to kind of talk about it, discuss it rationally and professionally, because it does need to be discussed. I'm not going to change my viewpoint. Let me say this. I don't care who sues AMC. I don't care if there is some copyright. I'm still watching the show. I'm still a fan of the show. But let's rewind the tape just a little bit and go back to some of the things that have made news. One, it has been widely recognized that Lauren Cohan is underpaid. She was having contract problems. So you have Lauren, who did not feel like she was being paid for the work she put in. Now, we talked about that, and we talked about, well, if she was going to get more money, she's going to have to take on the role of a leading character. So I'm gonna pause that for 1 second, because Jimmy's Jammin' wants to know, can they all just get along? Jimmy, let me tell you why they can't. Because when you have $1,000 and you make your first $1,000 in a business or a job, or you just open up your law firm, or you finally have viewers watching, you take that $1,000 and you go out and you buy everybody on set a beer, and you enjoy it, and you enjoy the success. And then it turns into $100 million. And at that point, it's how fast can I reach in and grab this money and pull this money out and get as much of it as I can get. And that's, to me, what it feels like at this point. And they should learn from other situations. And it's why we have courts, and it's why we have lawyers. Because regardless, you know who wins with all of this? The truth. Robert Kirkman doesn't win. Mel Smith doesn't win. AMC doesn't win. The lawyers win. The lawyers are probably making 35-40% of whatever. It's like when you have a class action lawsuit. The lawyers. I saw it was an investment thing. I know this is completely off topic. We won't go completely random things, but it was a, don't ask me why. I bought a small amount of Twitter stock a while back. Please don't ask me why. But the executives understated some things, overstated some things. Anyway, turned into a class action lawsuit. Facebook, the same thing. And there were some payments going out. There were, I don't know what they awarded. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe, I didn't even file the paperwork. Here's why. They might be awarding, say, $10 million. Facebook was probably around $50 million they were awarding. But it said, one of the things was, after this, you will get so much per share after legal fees are paid. And I started looking at it, I was like, this isn't even worth writing the thing out for a few dollars and putting a stamp on it. But if you're the attorney in the case, it definitely is. And that's what this is going to boil down to. It's going to boil down to a settlement. They're going to take how much profit they have. So Chosen One asked a little bit earlier, what do I think will happen here? I think AMC will cut this dude a check. A couple $1 million, make him go away. His lawyers will probably get $1 million of it, and they move on. And that gets passed down. So the next time Coca-Cola wants to put an ad in a Fear the Walking Dead TV show, they'll charge them more money. And if the show does not do well, they won't be able to. I mean, it's pretty simple, right, how advertising works? But now let's go back. And Jimmy, that's why I don't think they'll get along. Because it's an enterprise now. It's a $1 billion business. It's a $1 billion brand. Not, just high-fiving and we did well. So Lauren, and we debated this. Like, is she underpaid? And I think somebody typed a little bit ago, equal pay for equal work. And no disagreement there. What happens, though, with these type of shows, you have to figure out, you almost need to tier rank the importance of the character. So you almost need like a star, a co-star, a little bit below that, and then a whole bunch of fill-ins, right? So is Lauren's role as important as Daryl's role? Maybe not. I'm talking strictly fan base, drawing people in. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. I'm not saying yes or no. Daryl is overpaid. That's probably maybe a bad comparison. Is Lauren's character as the equivalent of Rick or Negan? I would say no. I would definitely give that a no. Let me ask you this question. Rate the following 4 characters as far as what you think is in order of importance. I'm going to give you 4 characters, and I want you to rate them from most important, far left, to least important. Okay? Carol. Maggie. Eugene. Jesus. Carol, Maggie, Eugene, and Jesus. Okay, type it left to right. Most important to least important. Let's just see, because we're going to talk about whether or not this would constitute a scandal or a disagreement. So some people are saying Maggie. Some people are saying Carol. Most people are saying Maggie. But we're kind of all over the place, right? Okay. So now I'm going to give you 4 more, and then we'll be done with this because I want to move on to the next topic. But I do have to use this as a basis. And those of you watching the playback, watching at home, do this as well. If you can do it in real time, that would be great. All right. Now I'm going to give you 4 more. Left to right. Rick, Daryl, Negan, Maggie. Rick, Daryl, Negan, and Maggie. And by the way, all of you that are putting Eugene at the very end, keep in mind, there would be no Alexandria, there would be no Rick, there would be no Father G if Eugene would not have sabotaged the bullet. So maybe Eugene needs to be paid a little bit more. Well, Lonnie, I love you, and I respectfully support your opinion, but Maggie being more important than Rick, Daryl, and Negan, I got to question that just a little bit. And make sure that we're watching the same television show. Because I would have a hard time putting Maggie's character ahead of Rick's character. I would have probably went Rick, Negan, Daryl, Maggie, based on what I've seen the last couple seasons. Even before Glenn died, I would not have put Maggie as the star of the show. But in most cases, Maggie is, wow, a lot of people put Maggie. Hang on, I'm gonna have to take a step back from this. As much as I don't like Negan, Negan has been a very powerful, polarizing character the last couple seasons, more so than I would say Maggie or Daryl. And if you're going to pay an actor based on what their contribution is, I don't see Maggie making a bigger contribution in the last 2 seasons than Negan or Rick. The story really has centered around those 2 characters. Crawfish is saying, tread lightly, Kills. Borderline getting in trouble. No, I know how to discuss this, Crawfish, so I'm gonna it's show-based. Maggie certainly... No. Well, Ani, here's the thing. And that's a fair assessment based on future importance. Does it mean that Maggie could be written into a more important character? Absolutely. So this is what we're going to get down to. What are you paying her for? Are you paying her for what she's accomplished, or are you paying her for what she is going to do going forward? And I think if you pay her for what she's accomplished, I would not put her in the top 3. If you want to give her a storyline that is going to be powerful. And hey, if you wanted to move Maggie and pay her as much as Daryl and let them be co-stars of the show, I'm not disagreeing that that couldn't happen. I just don't see the writers doing that. And that's where the debate is, whether she's underpaid or whether she's overpaid. I would say she was probably compensated reasonably, because she was compensated in the same ballpark as Josh McDermott, Melissa McBride, and the other actors that were a tier below where Rick, Negan, and Daryl were. So the Daryl thing could be debatable. I think if you want to pay Daryl because people love Daryl and they watch the show because of Daryl, that's up to you. I don't know that I would. But if you're paying for performance, I would say there's no doubt that Andrew and Jeffrey should make the biggest paychecks. Now, what are you going to negotiate for Lauren? And I guess that's where the conspiracy sort of comes in. So I'm laying it out on the table. Based on the information that I just gave you, whether you agree with it or you have your own assessment, would you say that Lauren was underpaid? Does that constitute a conspiracy, or does it constitute business? That's the way businesses are ran. Because if you come back and tell me that she's underpaid because she's a female, then I'm going to say, if we agree on that, that's a conspiracy. That's a scandal. That's bad. So just want to get some of the ideas out there. Because I said tonight we're going to talk about multiple scandals. You know, I can look it up. The last data I looked at, I think Chandler might have been making about 35 to 40 grand an episode. I think Lauren Cohan was probably making in the low 100s. And I know Andrew and Norman got huge raises last year, over $500,000. That's a big jump. But there was not a huge difference between them before last season. So we're going to move on to the next scandal, or potential scandal, here in a second. So I'm going to say maybe we overreacted a little bit with that one. All right. Hold on a minute, though. I'll get back to that. Jimmy's Jammin' says, Kills, in my opinion, Melissa McBride is severely underrated. I think to date, Carol has maybe 2, possibly 3 episodes in all these 8 seasons in the big spotlight. So, Jimmy, there's no doubt. Let me put it this way. In my opinion, The Walking Dead has some of the best actors that I've seen. I think Melissa McBride is excellent. I think Lauren Cohan is excellent. I think Josh McDermott is excellent. I'm not saying that they're all paid based on their capabilities. I'm saying I think they're paid based on their role and their contribution to the story. When they paid Jeffrey Dean Morgan good money to come there, they knew that there was going to be a lot of camera time on him. So certainly, if they would have wrote Carol's character differently, there's no doubt Melissa could kill it. Melissa could be the leader of the whole freaking group. But the way they've written her story is kind of like Daryl. Now we're sort of going to be experimenting to see if we, as viewers, can accept Norman Reedus in that leading man role. Because he's done a good job of what they've asked him to do, and he's made a lot of money off of it. And people love him in that position. And that's where I want to go back and say that everything that you see and everything that is YouTubed and a lot of these rabble-rousers just getting everybody fired up about every topic, I don't know that Lauren was underpaid. And if she was, I don't think she was grossly underpaid. But I do think if they want to make her the lead, then they absolutely should offer her $20 million and say, you know what? Daryl's going to do this, you're going to do this, and we're going to pay you the exact same thing, and you're going to drive it home. You're going to be the face of the franchise. So, in my opinion, AMC was not just lowballing her. I think that that was a going rate for several people that were around that mid-level, not the star of the show, but a tier below the star of the show. All right. That was kind of a mini conspiracy that was talked about. And you remember that even Kari Payton was like, pay the woman, you know, and in good fun. And clearly they did. They got her contract for half the season, but we don't know if that's going to be half the season, or maybe they do give her a big contract and they keep her there long term. Question that I want to know for the group, and I kind of know which way it's going to lean, but I do like to get these in there. Contracts can be amended. Lauren's contract is apparently, first reported, was the first 6 episodes. There's rumors out there it was 8. I don't know that anybody's seen it. But for at least 6 episodes. So, do you think Lauren will be out after 6 episodes, or do you think that AMC will continue to film, and in the next couple of weeks, Lauren will be extended throughout the remainder of the season? I just want to know your thoughts. I don't want somebody else's thoughts or another video that you saw. I want to know what you think. You think she's gone after 6? Or do you think that they're going to come up and re-up her? Here's why I asked that question, is because they're probably filming 5, 6, and 7 right now. They're in that time range. So if we don't hear something relatively soon, it's doubtful they are going to extend her. And I think that would be something that would be made a little bit more public. So Alani, if she's extended, we're going to need to hear that news pretty quickly. Okay. But we do have some scandals to talk about. So, the pay thing, that is one. All right, let's go ahead and address scandal number 2. Andrew Lincoln. Lincoln is leaving. Or as Matthew McConaughey would say, a Lankin. Is Andrew burn out? Does he need quality family time and he's tired of flying across the ocean and living half his life in Georgia? Did Andrew see the writing on the wall when he got the script and saw that Carl was dying and thought that this is the end of my story? Or did AMC go to him because of lawsuits with CAA and say, we're going to boot you off the show because we want the show to not have the main character? I laugh every time I see something with that. Or, as Casey said, was Andrew the ultimate professional, needed time off, went to AMC and told him that he was planning on leaving next season, and that is what constituted Scott Gimple calling Chandler in and telling him that his story was going to come to an abrupt ending. Now, wouldn't that make you feel a little better? Maybe just a tad bit better that they needed a Andrew Lincoln plan? It does, right? Nikki S. says, I think he's done with the drama. You know what? I was hoping, Nikki, that someone would type that. Is there drama in their world? Think a second. Think a second before you answer that. All right, follow-up question. How do you know? Mitch True says absolutely. Nikki says yes. DDA Ohio says yes. Lawsuits, definitely. How do you know? Because Trev said it. Because Ronnie said it. Because Kill said it. Because Brian said it. How do you know? How do we know that Andrew's frustrated and wants to get away from what's going on? So a lot of this drama is comicbook.com, it's 999 Gaming. It's what we make it. We manufacture a lot of it, don't we? KCF says, I think he loves the show and he loves the cast. So, you hear very, very often about how these actors love each other. We saw Cindy tweet out something earlier and said, love my new family, love the actors. So everything you read about Walking Dead, for the most part, the actors, you see them at Nick and Norman's, you see them celebrating to death, you see them work together, you see pictures of them where they just look like they're having a blast. But then we come up with these articles about how he doesn't want to be there anymore because Carl's dead and he didn't think that was right. I have no idea where that came from. None. I've never heard Andrew Lincoln come out and say, I don't want to be on the show because they killed Carl and I think that it's over. That's not what he said. Eric Pettis says, okay, Kills, it's your fault. To a degree, yes. We do have some ownership in this. We don't know what he thinks. We make the assumption because of all the other scandals that are going on. That's why I want to break these scandals down. You thought we were just going to get here and point the finger at AMC tonight, didn't you? Kills did some reverse psychology. Because we're taking each one of these instances, and we take a step back and we say, AMC sucks, it's a boat, it's sinking, it's going down. But when you break these things down as individual occurrences, they're different. I'm going to get to Corporal Epic Army. This is great. You know what? Epic just promoted himself. So Sergeant Chosen 1, Captain Crawfish. That, first of all, I could just focus on that, but I'm going to read the super chat. It's been 10 years of Andrew's life. He didn't think the show would go this long. He's ready to be done with The Walking Dead, period. He has to be tired now. And he's made a boatload of money off of it. And everywhere he goes, he's probably swarmed. So, Chosen One says, and you know what? I can agree with that, Epic, but for a lot of different reasons. The other thing that happens with actors. All right, let me throw this out there to the group. Can you see Andrew Lincoln as the next Iron Man? Robert Downey Jr. walks. Can you see Andrew Lincoln playing Iron Man? No? Huh. Okay. Could you see Andrew Lincoln playing Tom Cruise's role in Mission Impossible? He could pull off Ethan Hunt, right? No? Probably not. Okay, he's typecast. He's Rick Grimes. He's been doing this for so long. Even the next acting job he gets, he's going to have to be some sheriff in a small town in a Western. He's Rick. And he's been Rick for 10 years. And he's so good at being Rick, he could pull off James Bond. I'm not saying that could not happen. I could see him. But his roles are limited. So maybe it is time to go back home. Do some local stuff. Do a movie. Do something to get out of that Rick Grimes role that he's been in for 10 years. So that could be part of it as well. He can't be the Punisher. Fluff, come on. Maybe Daredevil. Or maybe somebody that Shane beats up as the Punisher. Catnat, he wouldn't have to be a Southern James Bond. He's very British. He can pull that off naturally. Okay, so we've almost gotten rid of a couple of the scandals that are out there. And the latest scandal of the lawsuit, let me tell you. This happens more than you guys realize. And in the video earlier today, that's why I said we need a Comic-Con trailer. We just need to get the show back on. Because now people are just piling it on. I mean, they're saying 1 lawsuit, 2 lawsuits, 3 lawsuits. And that's why I wanted to start the video that way today. They'll settle the copyright infringement. And they'll move on. And we won't talk about it again after a few months. All right. Now, some of these things happened. And sadly, and I promised and we said in previous streams, actually, before we get into this, because we're not going to go full scale with this, but we are going to acknowledge it's out there. Can all of the 999 Army just do me a big favor and slap the like button? because I might upset somebody here. So I want to get all the likes in. It's I want to collect before I step on some toes. Let's get everybody here to hit that. Get it up to 100 likes, and then we're going to move on to the next topic. And also, just as a special service announcement, I do want to say, I know every night we link some things, but if you guys look down in the comments in the video, I get a lot of requests, and we talk about as far as Patreon sponsorships, gear, the Walking Dead 999 Army. If you look down in the comments, each one of those links is posted. So if you're interested in becoming a Patreon, there's a link down there. If you want to rock some summer tank tops or some gear to Walker Stalker, there's a link down there. And also, if you want to join the Walking Dead 999 Army and chill with us on Facebook, there's a link down there as well, too. So we got a little bit of everything going on. Did I miss a super chat? Hold on, because I don't want to do that. Okay. Yes, I did. Thank you. I just saw the reminder a little bit ago. So we got Jeremiah Lawson says, we haven't heard him say he wants to quit. We haven't, Jeremiah. And I don't know if it is in his nature to do that. I'll have to dig in a little bit more and look at some of Andy's past social media and some of his things that he... I know he did the song, to Chandler, talking about how he would miss him. So that certainly was passionate. But I guess the question is, Jeremiah, are you stating that because you don't think he's leaving, or because you're not sure of the reason why he's leaving? Because that would be two different things. And then I'll see Jeremiah's comment in a second, because I do want to address that as well. And Captain Crawfish, before it gets a little bit lively, says, hey, Kills, that's not my toe. It was probably your foot or your ankle or your shoe or something along those lines. All right. We'll get Jeremiah back in a second. A little bit of silence here. Don't freak out just because there's a little radio silence. Good one, David. Rick is actually Negan's long-lost son. I don't know. Negan might be Rick's oldest. Moderators, if Jeremiah types the answer to that, let me know. So once again, Jeremiah, your statement, is it because you don't think Andrew is leaving at all, or because you're not sure of the reason why he's leaving? Let me know, and we'll get back to that comment, because I got a couple more super chats. Jimmy's Jammin' says, Kills, need a 999 for the G-Fest and Wizard World. What do you need, Jimmy? 999 gear, 999 rep. You need a 999 shout out. We got you. We're going to be adding a few more things as well. I want to get I don't think there's a 999 Army tank top. I think there's just a Fear. So I'll have to go back and check that out. Those of you guys want to rock it during the summer. Okay, a couple of weeks ago, we avoided the Chris Hardwick controversy, and I know it's a topic that is very it's very divisive. It is it's something that people feel very strongly about. So as I go into talking about it, I'm not going to rant. I'm not going to take sides. I try to have the wherewithal to see different perspectives, and understanding that I don't know. I wasn't in situations. You can only evaluate things based on, in a lot of cases, what you see, what you hear, what can be proven, and your own personal history. So, and as I said, there's going to be strong opinions on both sides of it. I hope that after the Army all walks away, that there'll still be a strong and cohesive group. But I do want to say this. When the allegations came out, we didn't talk about it a lot. But one thing that I decided to do is go back through Twitter feeds. And I will tell you that a lot of times you can learn a lot about people's character by what they say, what they do, how they react to certain situations. I went through some articles with Chris Hardwick. I went through almost all of Chloe's Twitter feeds. And there's a lot of behavior that is questionable. Doesn't mean people don't have the right to questionable behavior. It doesn't mean that people can't do things. And it doesn't mean that because somebody is a little bit out there and a little bit flirtatious and a little bit openly loose that they should be tortured, abused, taken advantage of. That's not at all what I'm saying. Wrong is wrong, no matter what. But when you see a pattern of behavior that is openly promiscuous, it's hard to take every accusation seriously. So, I'm not trying to impact any of your viewpoints on the situation. All I'm saying is, don't believe what Killshot tells you. Don't believe what you read. Do your research. And make your own judgments based on research. I have made stronger conclusions after doing my own research and my own analysis. Because one person can say this and one person can say that, and I have a right to choose this person because they're male, this person because they're female, this person because I know other people have similar situations, this person because maybe they have money and now it's a good opportunity. No, this person because they were in a position of power and they abused that power. All of these things are possible scenarios. But all I would say is, before you make a strong opinion, do your research, because there's a lot of good data out there. So E. Beach is going to ask just a point-blank question. So you're saying that you feel that Chris is being wrongly accused, in your opinion? That's a very direct question. I'm not necessarily saying he is being wrongly accused. I think a lot of what she said may have happened. But there's a lot of things that happen in relationships that are perceived to be okay at the time that they're happening in the relationship, and later on they're not. Now, all of these things are probably not going to be perceived as acceptable, but there are some things that might have been okay on both parts. And it would not surprise me a bit if they were both freaks. I mean, I don't know any other way to say it. I'm just going to come out and say it. I think they were both freaks to a degree. And Trauma King's probably like, if that's freaky, man, what would you call me? Yeah, exactly. No, in all seriousness, allegations they're always serious, but they can have impact on things. And let me say this. Think back through your days, and I'm not talking about serious things. I'm not talking about if something seriously happened to you where you were taken advantage of. What I'm going to say here is think back through maybe some young relationships or some things that you might have done on both parts, male and female, and think if all those things would be acceptable in today's society. And sometimes it changes. I'm going to leave it at that because I said I would touch on the topic. I'm not going to take sides. More stuff will come out, but do your due diligence. I'm not trying to isolate anybody or separate anybody. I never would. I'm just not that person, and because I do have, I have an interest in everybody here. So let me move on to Corporal Epic Army. These situations need to go through the court of law for the truth to be put out. We can't take sides when we don't know what did happen in the relationship. It's absolutely correct. And you are in a situation now where it's money. I'm not talking about her and him. I'm talking about advertising revenue. It's pretty simple. Somebody says something. If it's going to cost a reputable company like Coke, Pepsi, Sprite, I don't know, I always think of drink companies, and people are going to boycott their products, they're going to pull their ad dollars, and if they're going to pull their ad dollars, questionable behavior becomes semi-guilty behavior. That's the truth. And, it's a heck of a power for these advertising companies to have. But sometimes, Corporal Epic, the networks and the broadcasting companies, they figure it's easier just to do damage control, move the person out. Now, he hasn't been fired. He's been kind of put on ice until more stuff comes out. And maybe it will go to a court, but right now it's in the court of popular opinion, and they're probably diehard Walking Dead fans. They're going to support Chris Hardwick no matter what because he's a part of this franchise. There are probably some people that have been taken advantage of that are going to perceive him as guilty, whether he's guilty or not. And then there's going to be a whole lot of people in the middle that are going to do due diligence. And that's the only thing I'll say as far as the scandal. So, is it a Walking Dead scandal? Once again, I'm going to say no. I'm going to say a lot of these things are piled on. I think it is a relationship that went bad on a lot of different levels, and now it's rolling into The Walking Dead because that's his job. And that's where he works many, many years later. Lakeisha Faison brought up a great point. So if he was a regular guy, would she come out? Would he lose his job? You know what, Lakeisha? I'm not going to answer that question, but I'm going to ask all of you, if you feel comfortable typing. I'm going to ask the 999 Army to answer that question. If you don't want to answer, you don't have to. If you don't want to go on the record. If Chris Hardwick was a regular guy, would this have been publicized? Would she have typed the essay? And I think that'll give you a good a good idea if there's an ulterior motive. And there is no right or wrong answer to this. I mean, I'm not, like I said, you don't have to answer. I'm not trying to put anybody on the spot. Some are going to say yes. Some are going to say there's some extra incentive. Some are going to say that this is just a point where she came comfortable. But I'm also going to tell you, as text messages are unveiled, as timelines and social media become more apparent, as friends speak up, you're going to get a better picture where it won't just be about one person saying one thing and one person saying another thing. You'll be able to form a little bit more of the situation. Will anybody ever know the truth? No. But you will get clues and you'll get bits and pieces of what it was like and how long they were together and why they were together and all of those things I do think are relevant. So, once again, I don't think this is a Walking Dead scandal. We put it in the video. I think these are two people that went through things that a lot of everyday people go through, sadly. And some people, it's normal for them, and some people it's not. And it is a matter of what you perceive as normal in your own relationship. Some people are very strict in their relationship. Some people make innuendos with their loved one. Some people are very flirtatious. Some people are just wild. Some people share partners. Some people are freaks. Some people, whatever. I mean, there's a lot of different elements to that. And it's hard to tell many years later what a person was going through. So, yeah. But I guess that's why they say there's two sides to every story. All right, I am going to move on to the last part of this because we're almost an hour into this, and I definitely don't want to leave on the Chris Hardwick story because, as promised, we did touch on it, but we won't post, we won't take sides, we won't do this stuff on the Facebook fan page. But I did want to give you an opportunity to kind of discuss whether it is part of the summer of scandals, the scandalous activity. And then the last thing that I want to talk about is something we touched on in a video the other day. Is Scott Gimple setting Angela Kang up to be a fall guy? Promotion or fall guy? Could this be the real scandal of the summer? Some people have went on record of saying that they didn't even like some of the episodes that Angela Kang wrote. They were a little weak, a little slow, a little lovey-dovey. And is this something where she's going to be able to turn the audience? Or are we going to see a little bit more of that Ezekiel Carroll love, a little bit more of these relationships? Or is Scott washing his hands with the drama coming up with people leaving? Rai says she's going to be the fall guy. Kind of looking like that a little bit, isn't it, Dolores? I mean, hey, congratulations on your promotion. Fix it. Justin says, I smell a setup. Chris Rating says she's gonna. If she puts Tara in every episode, I am gonna be tortured. Please don't. Please don't. Dakota says dodging a bullet. Good point, E-Beach. The story they'll be told as time passes. The real way to tell is going to be if the show fails, Angela Kang fails, and if the show does well, if Scott Gimple says, hey, that's the one I promoted. Yeah, I guess that'll be the real telltale sign. So I saw Paul Eagle a little bit ago says, Gimple's got to go in so many words. But back to Casey's comment earlier. If Andrew Lincoln told Gimple he was leaving 2 years ago, and Gimple got the news, and they had to write in a real quick storyline to off Chandler because they didn't feel like Chandler was strong enough to be the lead on the show, couldn't one deductively reason that Andrew Lincoln killed Carl? Food for thought. Food for thought. So why aren't we screaming, Andy killed Chandler, Andy killed Carl? If Andy wouldn't have left, maybe Carl would have never died. Think about that one for a little bit, everybody. All right. Hey, I want to thank all of you for being here. Overall, I just wanted to kind of get all the scandals out there. I think The Walking Dead is in good shape. I know we started out really, really powerful. Let's lay off a little bit. It's going to be Comic-Con before long. We're going to see trailers. We're going to be super hyped up. But today when I saw that article, it was just lawsuit, lawsuit, lawsuit. And there's 50 YouTubers that do Walking Dead content. There's about 100 publications that do Walking Dead content. So when it gets out there just in the masses. I mean, it's out there really, really fast. It spreads like wildfire. But once again, once we get some action and we get some spoilers and we get some sneak peeks, then I think a lot of stuff will just sort of quill and we'll be back to a more normal pace. And then, hey, in August we got Fear the Walking Dead back as well. I want to thank all of you for being here. I want to thank especially everybody that stated their opinion and did so in a very composed, compassionate manner. You guys are absolutely awesome. If you're new watching these streams, I can almost promise you, you will not find that in any other live stream. You'll get super strong opinions. You'll get people that are just so emphatically trying to force their thought and their viewpoints on everybody else. And we have some strong opinions here, but one thing about the 999 Army is there's just a lot of respect. So I want to thank all of you for being a part of this. I want to thank everybody for having an open discussion about scandals. There will be no stream tomorrow night because this guy is going to watch Uncle Drew, and I may even give a little bit of a movie review on Sunday. So you will probably see a couple videos throughout the day. You'll see some Catch Me If You Can kills, but there will not be an official stream. Our next official stream will be on Sunday, but there'll be a few things just to kind of keep your heads up and look out for. Appreciate everybody being here. If you're brand new, subscribe, like this video, get involved. If you're watching the playback, these are going to be the closing credits. This is where I do the shout outs, and you're free to take off. If you're still here, give me a quick 999. And as we said a little bit earlier, we got just a lot of people here that support this channel, so I want to thank you. Don't want to do anything to isolate you, but sometimes we do have to address the tougher topics that are out there. So thanks to all my Patreons. You can see them up in the top right corner that support this channel. Also, we got some sponsors. They have different emojis, different color. There you see, there's Wilson. What's up, Wilson? Wilson, can you emoji the 999 logo a couple times since you're one of the sponsors on? And then we got the moderators, Emmy, Steph, Tommy, Kels. We got the super chatters, regular super chatters, Villar, OU Captain Crawfish, Jimmy's Jammin', Corporal Epic. So many people that, we talk about their comments. We saw a few other people as well. So that's what you get if you're a sponsor. Hey, and then you get a neat little badge, and it changes colors the longer you've been a sponsor. So, and I know some people are talking about, you know what? I want to drop this on 999 on the random things, but we are talking about 999 live, and it could be some real life stuff. People want to know a little bit more about what we do. I don't want to kind of drop at this point. In random things next week, if I remember, I'll tell you about a few thresholds or a few milestones that if we meet those milestones, we might start doing just some live streams and just hanging out with kills on a regular afternoon, not in video format. So just want to throw that out there. All right, everybody. Stay tuned for that. More to come. Do want to say what's up to the Cat Nat. Also, who else we got here? We got Northside Queen. Wait a minute. Hold on. Stop. Stop what you're doing, because I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you used to. It's Nikki's birthday. Happy birthday, Nikki. So you are going to get a super birthday shout out. Hopefully you're having a wonderful birthday. And if you guys have a birthday coming up, I don't check them all, to be honest, on the 999 Army fan page. I will, but shoot me a quick message. If you have me on Kick at KILZHOT, if you send me a message and say, hey, my birthday, and I'll have some of the moderators just remind me as well, and I'll give you a special birthday shout out. So thank you. Appreciate that reminder. Maurice Gamble, thanks for being here. Chris Raining, Sergeant Chosen One, Sam B. Now I got to get the 999s flowing back again. Nakobe Irby, thanks for being here. Miranda, thank you. Oh, Nikki got birthday cake. See that? Whoa. Wow. And you got the flu on your birthday. You know, there's like a heat wave coming through the whole country, so it's got to be like the worst time in the world to have the flu. When it's going to be 95 to 100 degrees over the next week. Howling Wolf, thanks for being here. Rai, that's Stallion. Thank you. Dakota Page. Thanks, Gina Crockett. Also, Lakeisha Faison. Thank you. Lieutenant Ripley is not invisible. Lieutenant Ripley, you left some really, really awesome comments on some of the videos as well. I know I haven't had a chance to respond to a lot of them, but thank you. Do want to let you know that I acknowledge that. There's a lot of comments on the videos. I can't respond to all of them, but I try to read almost all of them. Sometimes I'll just give you like a little heart or a thumbs up. Thanks, Mitch True. Jessica Woodmus, thanks for being here. KCF, thank you, Casey. E-Beach, 72. Man, E-Beach, you had to put me on the spot with that question, didn't you? Payback. Payback is going to be rough. Bumblebee Brown, what's up, B-Square? Good to see you. I saw CP a little bit earlier, too, so I want to give a shout-out to Cindy. Thank you, Melinda. Chris Raining says, thanks for no rant, but if Tara dies, I'm not watching The Walking Dead anymore. Fair enough, Chris. We all have our favorites. If Tobin dies, I'm not watching. Wait a minute. If Spencer dies, no. If the girl who I don't remember her name, who was shot right before Eric got shot, if she dies, I'm not watching anymore. You know what? I'm kind of a Gregory fan. If Gregory gets hung in public, I don't know that I can bear to watch the show any longer. What's up, Rubelo? Good to see you. Cammie, thank you for being here. You mean the squirrel that Daryl ate? I got a feeling that most of you in here are pretty hardcore Walking Dead fans. I think it's going to take a little bit more to scare a lot of you off. I think, like me, most of you are here for the long haul. I will say, if you guys did not see Random Things, if you ever want to write a poem that rhymes, do not contact Ron Burgundy Moore. Ron is probably like the worst rhyming individual I've ever come across in my life. I love Ron. Love me some Ron Burgundy. But I'm not sure what he was trying to rhyme the other night, but it was pretty bad. It was definitely like fitting a round thing into a square, or a square thing, whatever. You know what I mean. See, people that tune out, like once I say the closing credits, this is like the, you know when you go to a Marvel movie and you wait around because you want to see something that's going to happen? Like maybe they'll unveil something at the end. I'm not going to unveil anything. I'm not going to give you like some special news. Actually, I'm just hanging out with you guys, chilling right now. But if you want to hang out and you want to chill and do absolutely nothing, join us Tuesday night also for Walking Things. All right, everybody, we're going to wind this thing down because I'm an hour and 10 minutes. So I will talk to y'all soon. Peace.